position, just as he did over the top of the previous climbs. Vachon, Gilbert, Vauclair. That was the order through the finish line for the first time. It will be the all-important second time, though, that decides a whole lot of things, including stage honours and potentially where the yellow jersey ends up. And NX Quickstep deciding to open up the throttle here a little bit and just testing the legs of a few of the sprinters. There's Wiggins off on the right. He's spent a long time setting the pace, and he's found the tempo just a little bit brisk at the front end of the main field at this point. Lars back, rattling and rolling in second position in the red colours. Richie Port looks comfortable there in the black. So too Heinrich Hauser, the Australian national champion. Peloton all still together though, not enough to split things up. "40 seconds, the advantage now. And the experience of Wiggins, he started the climb at the front, swung off, rode his own tempo through to the top of the climb, and he'll slot back in, still in contact with the peloton. And I'm sure it won't be too long before we see him returning to the front and just doing his job. Gilbert surrendering back to the main peloton. His day is done. Recognising the inevitable doom. Gilbert takes matters into his own hands. Vauclair, though, right on cue. He sits at the front with Vachon. This is Lars back now on the front for Lotto. That's the result from that intermediate sprint. Vachon, Gilbert and Vauclair. As we're now down towards the back with big Nicholas Mays, after all that chasing that he's done, he just tags on to the rear end of the peloton. Docker, easy to spot with the red shoes from Orica Green Edge, protecting Michael Matthews. And Marcel Seeberg, the red colours, off to the right-hand side of the screen, just pokes up alongside the yellow jersey of Mikhail Kwiatkowski. Seeberg was crucial yesterday to the stage win of Andre Greipel. And he'll be an important teammate again today, as will Greg Henderson. Now Gilbert, back in the main peloton. How much energy has he spent today? Did he take a look at that climb and think, if I save some resources, recuperate a little bit, I could be okay on that? He certainly looks motivated to slot himself right back in towards the front. He's not relaxing and drifting to the rear end and just going through the motions. Gilbert could yet be a contender for stage honours. That would be some performance. I thought for a moment then Florian Vachon was going to attack Thomas Vauclair. Unfortunately for Vachon, there's no combative prize in this year's Paris-Nice. No most aggressive, unlike we so often see at the Tour de France. Mikhail Golas now at the front, former Polish national champion. Nelson Oliveira in the white colours for Lamprey. And quite a few riders still up there from Breton Séché, including Hutorovic. Hutorovic is the Belarusian national champion, riding almost right on the white line with the black and green and a little bit of red stripe across, indicating that he's the Belarusian national champion. And there's the Australian champion, Heinrich Hauser. He's been paying much more attention towards the front. The green jersey, Alexander Kristoff, the German national champion, down towards the back. This is Wiggins. He's done a lot of work today, Wiggins. He's playing the role of the unsung hero of the team. He sits the bike picture perfect. You could serve a tray of drinks on his back. It is pancake flat. Set the spirit level by it when he's in a time trial position. This is David Tanner now on the front for IM Cycling. Jerome Pinot is the rider that sits behind him. The Giant Alpecin team in the black colours with the little flick of white. They're getting themselves organised as well, looking after Degenkolb. And the two Belgian teams on the other side of the road, NX Quickstep and Lotto Soudal. The sort of stage that the yellow jersey, Mikhail Kwiatkowski, could potentially take the stage victory and poach another 10-second time bonus, which could prove to be very handy long term. As it stands at the moment, his advantage over the likes of the big pre-race favourites, Richie Port, TJ Van Garderen and so on, is around that 14-15 second mark. If he was to collect another 10 seconds, it could prove to be very handy. And it's just neutral service with the breakaway now. All the photographers are being called forward as well, opening up that gap as much as they can. The officials playing their role to perfection. A relatively small peloton in this year's race, just 20 teams of 8, so 160 riders to start with. 2 have abandoned so far. Heinrich Hausler pushes his way forward, nudges into the Giant Alpecin train, looking for a few of his teammates from IM Cycling. A big chance today, Heinrich Hausler, the sort of finish that really does suit him. Sergio Paulinho from Tinkoff Saxo at the back, calling for team service. The French national champion, Arnaud Demar, he's also up towards the front. There's Lars Boom in the Astana colours. We saw plenty of him yesterday as he tried to attack and get off the fronts. Katusha looking around for the green jersey. Alexander, where are you? 8th yesterday for Alexander Kristoff, the winner of stage 1. And Rowan Dennis, the white jersey, is still sitting down towards the rear end of the field. He's certainly looking relaxed, the Rowan Dennis. He's not overly concerned. Clearly, he is true to his word that his role at this year's Paris-Nice was to do his best in the opening prologue and then ride in support of TJ Van Garderen on the climbs. Well, they come tomorrow. Mountaintop finish tomorrow. And it will be TJ Van Garderen, Talansky, Port, etc., who will be the big names that we see towards the fronts. Vachon and Vauclair, they're just about done. There's Wiggins in the black colours. Just doing a bit more training at this point. His job for the day done. He's done a lot of work protecting his teammates up towards the front as we see the yellow jersey just nurse his way around. A little bit of a swing from Brian Coquard of Europcar. Thomas Vauclair in the green colours. He won't be adding to his long list of successes today. Likewise for Florian Vachon of Breton Séché. At the start of the day, his career tally of victories was at 6. It will be at 6 at the conclusion of the day. The peloton's eased up just a little bit. They know they've got the break under control. And now they look to just be thinking about the setup for the sprint finish. Roman Sikar in the green colours for Europcar. As the boys in red from Cofidis, the French squad, they are continuing to look across the shoulder, searching for Nasser Bouhanni. He's aiming for his 3rd year straight of collecting a stage win at Paris-Nice, Nasser Bouhanni. What he won't be doing, that he has done for the last couple of years, is wear the yellow leaders jersey. 2 years ago, it was dramatic fashion. He was in the leaders jersey, and he was a potential winner of the stage whilst wearing yellow, but he had an innocuous crash with around about 20 k's to go and had to abandon the race. I wonder if there'll be any bravado at the front between these two to get the honour of the last one caught. Or will we see the more traditional shaking of their hands? And congratulations on a job well done, just as they're about to be swallowed up by the peloton. Lars back now on the fronts. There's Howes off to the right-hand side of the screen. Consistently sits down towards the back until it matters. Henrik Howes doesn't waste any tension fighting for position early when it's irrelevant. It's only at the business end that he shows himself towards the front. Vachon in black, Vogler in green, along with Gilbert, who's now back in the main field. They really have been the heroes of the day thus far. But with 11 kilometres remaining and just a 15-second advantage over the main peloton, their time off the front is limited. You can see one rider down there from Orica Green Edge. It was Mitch Docker, but I'm looking for Michael Matthews. An almost tailor-made sprint, this one for Michael Matthews. Paranisi's first race of the season. He's taken control of the long year and not wanting to burn out. And for the first time in 5 years, he's experienced a winter, Michael Matthews. He spent the off-season in Slovakia with his fiancée, along with a few training camps. He had a training camp in Spain in December, and he then had 3 weeks at altitude in South Africa. A lot of work done by Giants, and now it's up to John Degenkolb. The break has almost been caught, but it's Thomas Vogler who's going to steal the honours of being the last man caught. This is Florian Vachon from Breton Sachet. He raises the white flag. He goes back into the relative comfort of the main peloton. He may not be there for long, however. And then it's just Vogler that they still need to collect. It will only be a matter of time before they do reel him back in. This could be Paulo Tirolongo, is it, that's clipping off the front for the Astana team. Well, Tirolongo doesn't win often, but when he wins big. He's won 2 mountaintop finishes at the Giro d'Italia. And Thomas Vogler has managed to pick up the wheel. That's a good performance. No great reaction coming from the main peloton. There's Hutorovic, who's the Belarusian national champion. Still sitting on the wheel of those riders from Astana. As Paulo Tirolongo is trying his luck off the front. We saw Lars Boom do it for Astana yesterday. The first win in his career, Paulo Tirolongo, came courtesy of a gift, effectively, from Alberto Contador. He's a former teammate. This is a little attack, though, from 2 riders from AG2R Le Mondial to try and bridge across. And this is Romain Bardet, who's in 2nd position of these two, the man that was 6th in last year's Tour de France. Well, this is changing the complexion of the race because Bardet is a strong climber. And if he can get a little bit of an advantage heading into tomorrow's stage, that will bring an enormous smile to his face. He attacked in a similar fashion to this in 2013 on a day where Andrew Talansky was the winner of the stage. And Richie Porte was also in that break. And it was the decisive move of the race. Bardet on the front now. Vogler, he's been collected by the main field. And Tirolongo, a little bit of a shake of the head. He can't quite maintain that tempo. And And this is Mario Costa losing contact at the back. Can't spot that green jersey of Alexander Kristoff. The tempo has been a little bit hot the last few kilometres. Jan Barkelants, the rider that is also there for AG Tour Le Mondial, the new recruit across to the team this year. It was a big attack by Barkelants at the Tour de France in 2013 on Corsica. When he managed to win the stage, he survived off the front of the main peloton by just a handful of seconds, and he ended up with a 2-day stint in the yellow jersey. I wasn't expecting that attack to include Jan Barkelants, as he and Samy Dumoulin, the two riders that I've got marked down from that team, as potentially quick enough to win the sprint finish today. But Barkelants is also thinking about the prospect of his teammate Romain Bardet for the overall standings. He's been trying to do a lot of work on his time trialling in the off-season, Romain Bardet. And judging by his performance in the prologue, he's still got a lot of work to do, because he was 34 seconds off the pace there. And with Hutorovic still at the front of that main field, you'd expect all the other big sprinters to still be there as well, because he's the most fallible on the climbs. But this is a good move. Tirolongo. This is Barkelants. Bardet wearing number 3. Giant Alpecin doing the chasing, trying to set it up for John Degenkolb. 16 seconds now, the advantage. Barkelants and Bardet, two very intelligent cyclists. Intelligent on the books as well as on the bike. And Paulo Tirolongo is a rider that is full of experience. He plays a big role looking after Fabio Aru, one of the riders that is there to try and tutor the young Italian hope through the early part of his career. Barkelants plows back through to the front. They know this road, they've been on it before. 6.7 kilometres remaining, 16 seconds their advantage. Plenty of the red jerseys up there for Lotto Soudal, the teammates of Andre Greipel. They had a desperate chase yesterday to reel in Lars Bohm, Geraint Thomas and Tony Martin. It was 3 then, it's 3 today. And it was Tim Wellens and Tony Galopin who did so much of the chasing yesterday. There's Kwiatkowski with Henderson sitting behind him. Back with Romain Bardet. His sister worked for the race organisers at the Tour de France last year, and she went from being anonymous in the media compound to somebody that everybody wanted to talk to and learn a little bit more about Romain. He hails from the town of Brioude, which hosted the stage finish in 2013, and he finished 6th on that stage. This looks like Warren Barguil now on the front. Another one of the young French hopes, and a very strong climber, but it's Degenkolb that he is working for today. This is Thomas Voeckler. Looks like he might be losing contact at the back end of the race, and he is, after what has been a big adventure off the front. And it is Wiggins who's only just in front of him. But Wiggins, he'll be fine, and he's not too concerned. A big gaggle of riders now from the Orica Green Edge team. They work their way through to the front. Christian Meyer doing a lot of the work at the front for Orica Green Edge. The Canadian on that squad. One of 2 Canadians in the race. The other one, Dominic Rowland, will be hoping to do a similar job for Nasser Bouhanni. 4 kilometres, 16 seconds. Barkalance, Tiralongo and Bardet. Michael Matthews will come into this sprint finish with plenty of confidence. Gilbert is down towards the back, so the prospects of him providing the big surprise and winning the stage after being in the breakaway, it looks as if that is simply not going to happen. Tiralongo looks across at his two breakaway companions from AG to Le Mondial. Bardet through to the front with Barkalance sitting in second spot. Christian Meyer, followed by Albacini. The Swiss man full of experience for Orica Green Edge. 3.2 kilometres. The peloton bearing down on the breakaway of 3. It's almost a sense of deja vu from what we saw yesterday. And at 3 kilometres to go on stage 2 of the Tour de France 2 years ago, it looked like Barkalance was going to be caught then, just as it looks as if he's going to be caught now. But he wasn't. Will he be today? I think he might be. The green jersey comes forward now with Alexander Kristoff. There's Wiggins just going through the motions. No concern for Bradley. The white jersey of Rowan Dennis still sitting down towards the back, looking completely relaxed. Meanwhile, it's frantic at the front. At the very least, he hasn't wasted any nervous energy, Rowan Dennis. Albacini for Orica Green Edge. Jack Bauer trying to move forward with the full leg warmers on, the New Zealander for the Cannondale Garmin team. Buhani comes through towards the front. The red colours of Cofidis with the solid black helmets. And the FDJ team, they're looking for the French national champion, but can't quite find him at this point. Barkalance, Bardet, Tiralongo, Daydum, they're about to be caught. It's now across to the sprinters with 2 kilometres remaining. It's William Bonnet for FDJ who leads on the right-hand side of the road. Buhani is the second in line amongst the men in red from Cofidis. The green jersey of Alexander Kristoff is searching for the wheel of Michael Matthews, and that is a good place to be. Simon Clark now on the front for Orica Green Edge. Docker looks around. Impey will also be there to do the job. Jens Kerkeler is another one to do the lead out for Matthews. And Arnaud Demar on the right-hand side of the road, caught in just a little bit of traffic. But note the yellow jersey. Kwiatkowski is also in amongst it, and he's thinking about the time bonuses. He's thinking stage victory and also long-term defence of yellow. And the yellow colours also of Lotto NL Jumbo with Marino Hofland. He won a very similar stage last year, 1 kilometre. And it is Docker who is on the front, but he's got Impey behind him. Yesterday, Docker hit the front a little bit too soon, and Matthews finished in 4th position. He's got the timing a whole lot better today because there's a few more teammates there to support Michael Matthews. Alexander Kristoff, he moves up onto the wheels as well. He's got himself in a good position. This is working out perfectly thus far for Michael Matthews. A stellar job done by Docker. It's now Impey, Kerkeler and Matthews. Hofland starting to move forward. Degenkolb with a lot of work to do. Rojas is there for Movistar. And Tinkoff Saxo, Matty Breschel, surely looking to get into the mix. There's Arnaud Demar, the French national champion, around the final corner. Alexander Kristoff, he starts to open up. Kerkeler looks across his shoulder as the challenge is now coming from Matthews. Bonifacio is trying to get there for Lamprey, but it's Matthews who takes the win. So Michael Matthews with the stage victory and the 10-second time bonus will also move into the yellow jersey. Alexander Kristoff wasn't too far away. Matty Breschel was in amongst it. But Michael Matthews all smiles in the end. He wasn't really challenged. It was a convincing win by Michael Matthews. And a brilliant lead out by the team. That's Jens Kerkeler, the first to congratulate him. Chimolai it was from Lamprey. Nizzolo from Trek Factory Racing in 3rd position. Simon Clark now coming across the line, speaking with Luke Rowe. 39.5 kilometres per hour, the average speed today, the quickest that we've had so far. And Matthews with time to put the arms up in the air. Just his 4th day of racing in 2015, and he's opened up his accounts. Nizzolo, 3rd today for Trek Factory Racing. You can see the smile on the face of Jens Kerkele, likewise with Michael Matthews. Daryl Impey is also engaging in the happy discussion. Well, much as he did at the Giro d'Italia and the Volta a España last year, a stage win and a stint in the leader's jersey. Chimolay in 2nd spot, Nizzolo 3rd, Christoph in 4th, Rojas 5th, Breschel in 6th position, Hofland in 7th. I think that's for the 3rd day running. Here's another look at it. It was the perfect lead-out train for Michael Matthews. He finished off the good work by his teammates. He went around the outside of Jens Kerkele, probably went the long way around. A little bit of a check on Nizzolo up the inside, and Chimolay home for 2nd place from Lamprey. That's Simon Clark, the captain on the road, congratulating Michael Matthews. We'll hear from Michael Matthews fairly shortly, I'm sure. It's Albacini, the next of the riders from Orica Green Edge, who come through to congratulate the stage winner and, I might add, the new race leader. And where was John Degenkolb? You can see the black colours in there from the Giant Alpecin team. But he was not in the top 10. Matthews, Chimolay, Nizzolo, Christoph, Rojas, Breschel, Hofland, Buhani, Cocker and Demar. That was the top 10. So John Degenkolb, who was a pre-stage favourite along with Michael Matthews, he's somewhere back down the list in double digits. And this is the new general classification. Michael Matthews leads by 1 second ahead of Mikhail Kwiatkowski. Rowan Dennis in 3rd position, Degenkolb in 4th. And a thumbs up from Kwiatkowski to riders part of the new generation. Riders born in the 1990s. So Michael Matthews will also be the leader of the Best Young Rider classification. A nice thumbs up. Both those men born in 1990. Likewise with some of the other big stars now of the sport. Peter Sagan is a 1990s baby. Likewise Nairo Quintana. So what a generation that was to come through the junior ranks with. And Michael Matthews is shaping up as one of the contenders for the Spring Classics. Milan-San Remo, that will be right in the sweet spot for Michael Matthews. The distance at this age is the only question mark. And it's the only one, because everything else is primed for him to be a real contender to win the first of the big Spring Classics. He looked to be riding a reasonably small gear, Michael Matthews, by comparison to the others, and pedaling a much higher cadence, really on top of it and kicking away. Well, it might be just one day in the yellow jersey for Michael Matthews, but one day is better than no days. There's the mountaintop finish tomorrow. As good as he can climb, it might be just a little bit too far as we go to the top of the Croix de Chauberey. It's a climb of 10 kilometres, one for the real climbers. Matthews ahead of Davide Cimolai. It was Giacomo Nizzolo, Christophe, Rojas, Breschel, Hoffland then in 7th position for the 3rd day running. Bouhanni 8th, Brian Coquart, and then it was Arnaud Demar. 3 Frenchmen rounding out the top 10. And JJ Rojas, he's so consistent as well, always in the top 10, but so rarely wins for a guy that is that consistent. And Michael Matthews, I'm sure he'll say it in the post-race interview about how good his lead-out was. The train was perfect today from Orica Green Edge. He couldn't have asked for anything more than what was delivered. And Daryl Impey only just getting out of the way. It was Jens Kerkelaer who was the last to go for Orica Green Edge. And then Michael Matthews over the top of him convincingly. Something Michael Matthews did plenty of last year was throw the arms up in the air. Certainly not the biggest win of his career, Michael Matthews, but it is a good one. He was the under-23 road race world champion back in 2010. And last year he won a stage at the Tour of Italy and a stage at the Tour of Spain. It was a pretty big season for him. And he's already won 17 races in his professional career. So pretty good start, still just 23 years of age. Here's a look at the general classification. Matthews, Kwiatkowski, Dennis, Degenkolb, then Tony Martin, Luis Leon Sanchez, Sylvain Chavanel, Tom Dumoulin, Geraint Thomas, and then Philippe Gilbert with some time bonuses today has moved up to the top 10.
Michael, Orica Green Edge did an amazing job today for you. They helped you a lot.
Yeah, we've been trying the last couple of days, but just couldn't quite nail it. And yeah, today we had a big plan to go from 3K to go on the front and just see how we go. And as you can see, the boys were really strong today. They put me in the right position, and yeah, it was just up to me to do the last 100 meters.
We expected John Degenkolb to win today, and for your first race to this year, you managed to win.
Yeah, it's all to my team, really. They done everything today. I have good legs, but yeah, not race legs that like the other guys have in the peloton. So yeah, it was just coming here just to see how I go and get a first race in, and yeah, we came out with a win. So yeah, we're really happy.
You've won the race, and you wear the yellow jersey. That's amazing today.
Oh, really? I didn't know that, but yeah, that's definitely a bonus. I'm winning the stage, take the yellow jersey for the team, and yeah, for all their hard work today, just to finish it off with a win and the yellow jersey is really nice.
Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Nice reaction of surprise there from Michael. It's about the fact that he's the race leader. Clearly, there was just one objective at hand, and that was to win the stage. Everything else being classified as a bonus. And there it is, a 1 second advantage over Mikhail Kwiatkowski, who expected, in his own words, to lose the jersey yesterday. He had another 24 hours in it. He might get it back tomorrow. Roland Dennis in 3rd position, John Degenkolb in 4th. The powerhouse Tony Martin it is who rounds out the top 5. Here's another look at the lead out. Perfect run of the finish line. This is Mitch Docker, who is on the front for Orica Green Edge. He did a big turn of pace at the front, Mitch Docker, building quite a reputation as one of the keys to the lead out train for the Orica Green Edge team. He got married in the off season, Mitch Docker, to a girl that he met at university. He stepped out of the way. It was then Daryl Impey who was on the front, the South African who has done this regularly for Simon Gerrans. It was Daryl Impey who delivered Simon Gerrans to win the stage at the Tour de France, ahead of Peter Sagan on day 3 of 2013. Then Jens Kerkelaer at the front. And Michael Matthews over the top. Mazzolo gets checked ever so slightly. Chimolay challenged just a little bit. Here he is, Michael Matthews, collecting his first ever stage win at Paris-Nice. He really has taken the responsibility as being a team leader at just 23 years of age. Doesn't turn 24 until September. A lot of his season will be based around the Spring Classics and then the Tour de France, where he will make his debut. And he's going to have to step out a few times more to collect a couple of jerseys. He'll have the yellow jersey and the white jersey. And he may well have moved himself into the green jersey for the points classification. Certainly going to be close. Top 3 on the stage once again. Chimolay in second spot, Mazzolo in third. The Australian getting the better of the 2 Italians. The other Aussie that I expected to be up there amongst it, Heinrich Hauser, really didn't fire a shot in the end. Here comes the presentation for the yellow jersey, which comes as a pleasant surprise for the stage winner. Michael Matthews back out onto the podium. All smiles, as well he might. Bernard Hinault, as always, just quietly behind the race leader, doing up the zip. Something that he is very familiar with. Flowers as well for Michael Matthews. It was such a dramatic stage win for Michael Matthews at the Giro d'Italia last year to Monte Cassino on a day where we saw so many crashes. And Cadel Evans was third on that stage. Michael Matthews did it in the leader's jersey, the Maglia Rosa. And then at the Tour of Spain, when he won the stage there ahead of Dan Martin, it was mainly climbers who were in the minor placings. And a stint in the leader's jersey then as well.